Welcome back, illuminating the Matrix once again, guys. Today, we're going to be discussing spirituality, true spirituality, ascension, ETs, Cabal, source consciousness. We're getting after it today, baby. So thank you for joining us on our spiritual babble. It's about to get wild. Today, we are joined by Nicola Turkla, and who better to bring on a spiritual discussion than the man himself, Ken Walker. Ken, how you doing, brother?
What a team, brother. I'm doing great. Great to be with you guys again, and I'm excited. Every time we get together and do a discussion, it's just fun, man. It doesn't even feel like we're having to work for anything. It's just everything just flows. So let's make it happen.
Dude, you flow. Okay, like before we get started, like I just want to say, like the more I listen to you, Ken, from our podcast, like the more impressed I get with you. Like literally everything you say is pure gold, and like
wow.
You make it rain spiritual diamonds, man. Like you need to voice yourself more. Like people need to hear what you have to say, man. Like, so what is true spirituality?
I tend to try to simplify things. So to me, it is initiating that divine Wi-Fi, that connection with the greater energetic source that really is the center of our being, and then growing it, right. finding whatever your preferred and your most comfortable way, whether that's through again some type of meditation, some type of religious practice, some type of like you mentioned DMT and mushrooms, some type of psychedelic type use, some type of whatever. Like there's no singular best path for anybody, but right. Whatever you're comfortable with and resonate with is using that and being. I think whatever you utilize, you've got to be regimented and disciplined with. I do think that's a very important part of the practice, is that you've got to commit to it and stick with it. Like it's not something that you're just going to jump into for a day or two, go to a 3-day retreat and think you're going to come out of that and be Gandhi right. or something. Like you gotta it's a life change. It literally is. Yes. Like a commitment to a permanent life change.
It's the red pill in the Matrix.
Really. Yeah. It's coming to a point where you're like, all right, I'm no longer going to allow myself to depend on the things that society tells us are measures of personal worthiness, like monetary wealth and fame and physical appearance and collection of assets and those types of things. You can still have those things, but it's allowing yourself to break the attachment of necessity from those things, and your new attachment becomes this newfound source of internal knowing and energy that you have committed to a path of opening up to.
Now, to me, true spirituality is quite simple. True spirituality is nothing but free will. Freedom to do and believe anything you want. You can be a Christian, you can be a Buddhist, you can be an atheist, you can be an asshole. Like true spirituality, there is no right or wrong. Duality only exists in this physical dimension. Polarity does not exist in the higher realms where we come from. Like we come from these realms where there's no pain, there's no fear, there's none of that. It's just love. It's only love. So that's why we as infinite spirit, we're so intrigued by this physical dimension, because this physical dimension, the theme of this universe is polarity, light versus dark, love, fear, pain, pleasure, happiness, sad, despair. Like we as infinite spirit, we don't know what that's like from the higher realms. So we're like, oh shit, this is awesome. Like let's go experience pain. Let's go experience all this stuff. There is no right or wrong. Like true spirituality is just 100% free will to do anything you want.
I like the utopian aspect of that, and I do think certainly at some point in the planetary evolution, and as we, I haven't been there, so I can only read about what higher dimensional experiences purported to be about. But in the, high 4D and low 5D, I think they say, dimensional experiences where you start to essentially be able to understand exactly what you're talking about from an experiential standpoint, where you understand that there is truly no good or evil. It is individualized aspects of that creator source agreeing to play a role in order to provide a counter motivation to some other side of the equation. So it's really difficult for us to perceive at this level. But again, as you grow in your awareness and your understanding, you start to be able to perceive from a higher level the context that you're talking about. So I would agree with you in that sense.
Yeah, and people like look at me like I'm crazy, and like how do you know? Well, truth has to be experienced, and there's many ways to experience it. And for me, it was DMT. Like DMT allows will literally send your consciousness to these higher realms. You can see it and experience it for yourself with your own eyes. You can literally leave your body, experience these higher dimensions that are all around us. You can experience what it's like for pure love, no fear, none of this duality bullshit that exists here in the physical dimension. Like, you can see it for yourself, truth for yourself, experience it. And there's only so much I can tell people and explain people. Like you have to go after it. You have to see it with your own eyes and experience it with your own like being and understanding. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So
that's all I have to say about that. No, that was great, man. That was good.
Thanks. So for people like us who have a spiritual awakening and an understanding of the infinite nature of consciousness, we know we have lived many lifetimes. Like, no matter what your beliefs are, like, it doesn't matter if you're a Buddhist, it doesn't matter if you're a Christian, it doesn't even matter if you're an atheist. Even atheists have been reincarnating over and over again. It's insane. It's hilarious to me. But why do you think it's so hard for people of other religious belief systems to grasp the concept of reincarnation? Like, some even considering it blasphemous.
Because they trust a book instead of their instinct.
Yeah, right. Like, they trust they
trust preachers instead of themselves.
They trust these institutionalized man-made institutionalized system of beliefs
as infallible.
Yes, as infallible. And they're
mistake number one.
Yeah, and they're like protectors of the code, their
word is God. Even God's word is meant to be questioned. My God encourages me to question him because he's that truthful. He's that righteous.
And
my understanding is that a lot of the I can't speak for certainly not all religions, but a lot of the initial influence that went into the Christian religion that led to the concept of reincarnation being omitted had to do with the fact that they felt it more beneficial for people to focus on the present life experience in order to provide maximum growth and benefit during the present life. I guess the feeling was that if people spent time doing past life regressions and that kind of thing, that they would potentially spend more time delving into those prior experiences and not necessarily care about focusing on improving themselves in the here and now. And I think over time that obviously that information has been largely lost from the mass aspect of that teaching to the point that even the notion of the possibility of reincarnation is now demonized, just like any other form of mental manifestation that is now kind of coming back in a spiritual context. So
that's the slippery slope of censorship. That's where you don't foresee. See, that's why, I mean, it's a decent argument that the writers of the Bible would say that, but to me, leaving somebody in the dark at their best interests and it's as you deem is dangerous at best.
Yeah, you're right. We know that now, but I think at the time, I mean, you got to think the average level of individuated consciousness at the time was probably the equivalent of like, it was basically barbaric. I mean, it was nowhere near what today's level of even the violent entities and nations on our planet today are probably far advanced, not only intellectually but also just from an understanding of human psychology and emotions and that kind of thing than anybody in that day. So I'm sure there was
And what about like Thoth? I gotta challenge you a little bit, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but like he seems a lot more like advanced than a lot of the stuff I read now and stuff. You know what I mean? Like maybe.
So his writings and teachings were only found in the last century or so, and I think he would probably express that they only came back in a time when they were able to be discerned and understood and processed and utilized back into the human consciousness. So I think there's I would guess that response would be, yes, I taught that to the group of individuals that were capable of processing and understanding that information back whatever 5,000 or 6,000 years ago, but then that information was hidden and buried specifically to protect it from those that were trying to utilize control force in order to manipulate people. So not to say that there wasn't some of that going on. I certainly do believe that whatever you want to call it, governments or large religious groups or combinations between the two all throughout history have expressed a definite manipulation of spiritual understanding and religious understanding to keep people oppressed or under wraps or what have you. I definitely think that's been happening, but I don't think that's the only reason necessarily that our knowledge and understanding of reincarnation or other spiritual evolutionary concepts have been omitted.
They may even do it with the best of intentions, but I just feel like it's very it's kind of very assuming a lot of yourself to think that you can foresee what's best for somebody else to learn, because that's where the occult knowledge all comes from. Like Aleister Crowley and all them, they all that's why I'm a little skeptical. Everything you said makes total sense to me, and it rings true. But I get nervous because like these secret teachings and knowledge and stuff to me, when people like bogart them for themselves or whatever, it seems to be that it always circles around these like dangerous ways of running off the rails.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, for me personally, like August, you mentioned that that anybody in the spiritual development process knows that reincarnation is real or what have you. I can't say that's necessarily true for me personally. Like I think the concept resonates, and the things that I've read about it definitely make sense to me from a development of a soul and a evolution of a spirit standpoint. But I've not been to a point in consciousness where at least in my present state, where I've recognized my own presence in prior lives or that kind of thing. So, it makes sense, but I can't say experientially that I know without question that is a universal process that we all go through.
Have you done a past life regression on yourself, or?
I have not. I actually early on in this process kind of looked into it, but yes, actually I looked into it. I read up on it. I actually found a regressionist within about 20-30 miles of where I live, and was pretty close to going and trying it. Well, and then I did some research again, and I was like, and it started talking about kind of similar to what I was saying before, that it can become a distraction and throw you off course from your present, that kind of thing. So I was like, yeah, I can see how that might happen. So I kind of just stepped away from the idea, but
the brakes a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it does have an intriguing aspect to it too. Everybody wants, like you said before, we just want to know. Want to know, who am I, what am I, and where have I been, what have I done? So it would be cool.
Yeah. So I did. Actually, I didn't. Okay, so I went to go see a Reiki therapist, and her name's Tanya. She's, oh my god, she's freaking amazing.
What's Reiki?
So Reiki is energy healing using the life force energy that we all have, that the universe, it's allowing the universal energies to heal you, and you can heal your chakras, you can heal pretty much everything about you, and we all have that capability to do it. We can all channel the life force energy. And anyway, so I went there for that because I wanted to clear my chakras. I knew that my chakras were blocked, and so I went to go see her.
When?
This was I want to say a year ago. I'm not sure. But dude, like I said, I went to just get my chakras cleared with Reiki. That was it. But like, dude, oh my god. So she did the Reiki therapy, and like, but she also did a past life regression on me, like at the same time. Like I didn't know. Like she didn't tell me that she was doing a past life regression on me. It was mind blowing. It was insane. And she basically put me under hypnosis, or like I was kind of like in a trance, and the whole time I'm just thinking, you know, I'm in a trance and she's healing me, and doing all kinds of awesome shit. But like, so afterwards, she was like, okay, I need to tell you some things that you're probably going to like. She was basically like, I don't know if you're on the level of consciousness ready to perceive the information I'm about to tell you. And I was just like, I was already spiritually woke at that point. Like I already know.
She was like, you're either gonna love me or hate me after what I tell you.
Yeah, like so I was like, dude, no, Tanya, like I already fucking know, like I've lived thousands of lifetimes, like I already know that. And then she was like, okay, good, like I'm about to tell you. And so nice. Here's what she told me. I'm a starseed. I come from an extra-terrestrial race of owl beings, and owls was always my favorite animal. And I was like, oh my god, like I can't believe you're telling me this. And she was like, you come from.
Yo, Thoth had like an owl look, by the way. Yeah. That's crazy.
So she was like, this race of extra-terrestrial owls was going extinct. And through like wars and stuff that was happening, I came to Earth to help repopulate, to keep our race alive. So
you better get busy, bro.
Yeah, so I came during the second fall. I came during the second fall of Atlantis. That was the first time I came. Yeah,
you never told me this.
I'm telling you now. So that was
you keep secrets, man. I like it.
So that was the first time my soul came to Earth. But, oh my god, I can tell you, I pretty much know, okay, I don't want to say I know everything, but here's my understanding of it, okay? Earth is a 3D prison matrix. Earth is where souls come to forget their souls. Like that's what Earth is, okay? And I'm not going to get into...
It's not like a learning experience at all or anything? That's it?
No, that's what they are trying to get us to think, that it's a learning system, but it's not. It's not. We are infinite souls. We are infinite beings. We can literally manifest entire universes, dude. We're super powerful. We know everything. Like why do we need to come here to keep relearning shit? Like we don't need to relearn nothing. So
but then what's the point of everything? And I'm genuinely asking.
Okay. Here's my understanding of it. Earth is a 3D prison matrix. Everything here is designed to keep us stuck in the 3D prison matrix. Everything.
But I mean, after if we escape the prison matrix and we're infinite and all that and could do everything, what then is the point? Sorry,
we're everything. We are everything. We manifest entire universes with pure thought. This is what we do. This is what we do. We are literally God. Exactly. Okay. All right. Fuck.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. I'm an idiot. Like these are just like basic questions I don't even know.
We're gonna get into that. But first we have to come to an understanding that Earth is a 3D prison matrix. This is where souls come to forget their souls. That's what Earth is, and it's controlled by beings. They go by many names. The Anunnaki. They also go by the Archons. I think the Archons is the more like universal term.
But does an infinite being have to make a willful choice in order to submit to that?
Yes.
So notionally, each one of us would have somehow either been tricked into or agreed to
oh my god, yes,
enjoying that experience.
Ken, that's our whole talk that we had the other day. Wow,
dude. Yeah. Okay, so the Archons are in control of the major religions. Okay, they prey on us like when we die, like depending on what belief system they programmed you to believe in, like if you're a Christian, when you die, they will approach you as Jesus and say, hey, I'm Jesus, you like fucked up your whole life, I can show you all of your mistakes, and you need to go back to earth to fucking fix all that shit. That's what Jesus, they keeping us in this 3D prison matrix, and it doesn't matter
To what benefit though? Is that
Okay.
like extraction of energy for their own use?
Yes. Okay. They're called the Archons. Okay. They harvest our negative energy. It's called loosh.
Do they not make their own energy? Is that why they need to do
Yes, they're parasitic beings. They need to feed off of our negative energy called loosh. Earth is a fear farm, an energetic fear farm where we emit this negative energy called loosh, and they suck it up. It's like an elixir. Like it keeps them alive. They're parasitic beings.
It's literally nutrition.
Yes.
It sustains them.
Yes, it sustains them, right? Exactly. So
temporarily,
they are the ones who created this 3D prison matrix, okay? And they are doing everything to keep us here, okay? Like we aren't supposed to be here this long. Like but
how did they come to be like that way, and like not energetic or whatever? You know what I mean? Like
yeah. They're as opposite from source as it can possibly be. They have forgotten
duality.
They have forgotten their connection to source completely. Like they have completely.
And so they had one at one point.
Yeah. Like
okay.
Yes, source.
We each have the willful ability to go maximum distortion from pure consciousness or pure love at every level of dimensional opportunity.
I've been there, guys. I can't even tell you. I've overdosed and stuff and should have been dead. I've lost friends. I'm not even exaggerating. Like it should have been me. Like I went the other way as far as you can go.
Right.
No, God, like I get it. Wow.
Yeah. So these Archons are as maximum farthest you can possibly be from source. Like as
they actually hate source.
Yes,
they say if there's a source, fuck source.
No, they like forgot it. They don't even know. Like they don't even know that they are source. You know, like that's how separated
removed they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like as far as it can possibly be. So that's
same with the Illuminati, dude.
Yes. So so the Illuminati, that's who they work for. They worship the Archons. It
makes total sense.
That's the Archon.
I've heard them use that term before, actually, in some of their writings and stuff.
The Illuminati is the physical manifestation of the Archons. That's what they are. Okay?
So they're half human and half Archon, or what are they? What do you think?
I mean, they're a little bit of both. Like, okay, so these Archons, they're interdimensional. They're ETs. They're extra-terrestrial. They do have physical incarnations, physical bodies, but they also they're super spiritual. Like these ETs.
They understand that stuff beyond us a lot.
Like these ETs, like us, because these bodies are they designed our physical bodies. They designed our five senses.
They incarcerated us in incarnation.
Yes. I mean, that's why our bodies are made out of cells. We're literally prison. Our bodies are prisons for spiritual beings. That's what
This is what I wanted to get at, guys.
Yeah.
So spirituality we need to define, and then it seems to me that there's a level above that, which is empathy, or maybe what you would call soul. But like they understand spirituality and magic or occult, whatever you want to call it, better than a lot of us.
No, but
what they're practicing is service to self.
Service to self.
Yes.
Rather than service,
exactly.
rather than service to others. So it's a utilization of that same source energy, but in a distorted way that is only benefiting to the degree that August was talking about before, where they're pulling their source of energy from all the hate and discord and negativity and anger and that kind of thing. From this,
how black holes are created, I'm starting to realize.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe so.
They consume themselves.
So here's my understanding of it. Most of us, I would say like 99% of us, have been reincarnating on Earth for thousands of lifetimes, thousands. And this is what they do. The Earth is a prison matrix for souls to forget their souls, and they keep us trapped here over and over and over again. It's a reincarnation.
Over Frankenstein's monster.
It's a reincarnation soul trap. Like, we're not supposed to be here this long. We're not supposed to be humans. We're not.
Well, then what's allowing that to happen? It's our subconscious, or what?
They're tricking us. They deceive us. We have to, on some level, agree to incarnate here. We have to agree to incarnate here. So,
but there'd be a skeptic that would say that, no, that's not fair, because I definitely never consciously agree. My old cynical ass would say that.
No, but that's where, like, past life regression comes into play. Your subconscious remembers everything. Okay, that's where past life.
No, I was just going to say, and some of us, like in a time like right now, where we are coming. You're familiar with the 25,000 year cycle, which is what for 12,500 years you're operating, going from the entire planet, going from the dark energy toward light, and then 12,500 you're going from light to dark, and that cycle is just a spiral, just like the DNA chain that continues on throughout the entire evolution of any planetary body or any celestial body at all. So we're coming to the end now of the dark to light cycle.
Yes,
but they're keeping us in the negative dark cycle so that they can stay in the light cycle.
They're holding on.
They're trying to extend it as long as they possibly can.
Yeah.
Wow. And so to the question of why would I come here willingly? Well, notionally, the reason our population is as big as it is right now has never been as big as it is, and apparently no other planetary body in our local universe has ever reached this size either, is because many of us at a soul level understand or understood coming in the necessity of adding non-distorted energy to this planetary body, because there is so much negative influence on the earth right now. So we
came to save it. So
we essentially, I mean, that's so that's the Starseed or Lightworker or whatever the various different groups of indigo children and those types of things are references to oversoul groups of hundreds of thousands or even millions of individuated beings that made a decision to come out of higher level dimensions or densities in order to
I call them empaths.
These ETs. So these ETs are watching. Simple. These ETs are watching it all unfold. They're watching it all unfold, and they know. They're like, okay, shoot, like humanity's in trouble, but like we're not gonna go incarnate there, because they know it's a.
We're in trouble too. We're dying too. And
they know it's a 3D prison matrix. They know it's dangerous. Incarnate.
So these are other entities.
Yes.
Outside entities.
So okay, listen. So.
I'm trying to understand, man.
Just listen. Okay, so these ETs.
Well, I gotta ask questions. I can't keep listening. I gotta figure out where I'm at. This is mind-blowing stuff.
I know.
You're saying it so like simply and matter-of-factly. Like, I'm sorry.
So these ETs are watching it all unfold, okay, and they know Earth is a 3D prison matrix. So, but they want to help humanity. So they're like, okay, how do we help humanity? We don't want to incarnate ourselves. Because we don't want to be brainwashed and programmed and be fucking atheists and then lose ourselves in the reincarnation.
Trapped there forever.
Yes. So they're like, okay, we need to find the most fearless, the most adventurous souls, the most the most fearless souls we can find to incarnate and help humanity from the inside. And that's what Starseeds are. That's what we are. That's what we are doing now. And so I came here during the second fall of Atlantis, and I got stuck in the reincarnation soul trap over and over and over and over and over again. And this is the first lifetime where I agreed to come in to help. Like, I understood what the reincarnation soul trap, so I agreed to come in again to help free humanity. We are waging war against the machine. We aren't supposed to be here. We're not supposed to be humans here for this long. No. We are infinite spiritual beings. We are source incarnated. There's so much more out there than this. This isn't. So
let me ask you real quick. So you mentioned your regression session. But was your cognitive understanding of that history that you just mentioned, was that Was that drawn out at that session, or was that
No,
something that you've had an understanding of?
I've always
long
had.
before that?
Yes. I've
So
had
like from childhood,
not from childhood. Obviously, I was I was unconscious like everybody else, and then it started from that thought that I had about DMT, and then once I started doing DMT and I started seeing these higher realms and dimensions, that's when I started getting an understanding of who and what I am, and I as an infinite spiritual being. And then so like I said, she sat me down. Tanya sat me down. I was like, look, because she didn't know my understanding of consciousness. She didn't know.
Yeah.
So she was just like, okay, what I'm gonna tell you might like sound batshit insane. And I was just like, no, Tanya, like I already fucking know all this. Like, and she was like, okay, good.
Lay it on me, Tanya.
Yes, I'm a late. Yeah. So I was like, dude, tell me fucking everything. And yeah. So she laid all of that shit out. She told me I got stuck in this reincarnation soul trap, and I already knew that. Like I already knew I've been stuck in this reincarnation soul trap over and over again. And
what did she tell you specifically that made you resonate that like this lady isn't just like scammer or just telling me generalities?
Well, the first thing was when she told me that I come from an extraterrestrial race of owl beings, and owls have always been my favorite animal for like forever. That's been my spirit animal like forever.
That's a big clue.
So that was like, whoa, okay, like holy shit, like that's
got you listening.
Yeah, that was like the first thing she hit me with, and I was like, okay, like wow, like that everything is just like making sense at this point.
Go on, Tanya.
Yeah, go on. Basically, go on. I recorded that the whole conversation too. I hope
Dude, I gotta hear that sometime.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And I think this discussion hopefully is helping those who might be interested in kind of exploring that route for themselves to know, like, okay, what would it take for me to take the first step in getting into that understanding of my. Yeah. So I think you're helping to open that clearly to people right now. So
I just realized this, but I'm playing devil's advocate with a lot of the questions I asked for that very reason. Yeah. It's not how I feel necessarily. I'm just being the skeptic that I know is out there that needs some help.
Exactly.
Dude, your questions are great. This is awesome. I can sense the echo of hundreds or thousands of people listening on the line thinking the same thing. So excellent.
So here's
thanks, Ken.
So here's my understanding of God and Source. Like this is what from my accumulation of my life, and you have to understand, this is all I ever cared about. I only wanted to know, and that's it. And like,
same here, buddy. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and a lot of people, like what I'm about to say about God, like people confuse that as like a God complex. Like this is not a God complex whatsoever. Like I hated me. Like I wanted to kill myself like almost every single day. Like I had the lowest self-worth, self-esteem about myself. Like so like we need to get that understanding first.
So you're not thinking you're God. You're coming to this conclusion in spite of the fact you don't think you're God.
Exactly. So here's my understanding of it all. At one point, we were all one source consciousness. Everything, all of us, everything was one singular point, one source consciousness, okay? This source consciousness that we all were had everything. Obviously, it's God, like, right? We had the ability to manifest entire universes with pure thought. We have everything. We know everything. So, like, wouldn't that get boring after a while, right?
That's what I was going to ask. What's the point then?
Wouldn't that get boring after a while? So God's Source had a thought and was like, what would it be like to not be God? Like, what would it be like to not have everything, to not know everything, to not be God? And just that thought, Source began to fractalize. It started to like crack into pieces, into individual pieces, and each individual piece was given its own identity, its own awareness, its own point to view all that is, its own perspective, its own point to
mortality, even
its own perspective to view all that is.
The timeline.
All that is gave each individual piece to view all that is. Okay, so those pieces began to fractalize more and more and more and more into tiny pieces until here we are. Like we're just human. I'm just a human, man. Like this is like I don't fucking know. I'm not God. Like, but this is what we came to do. We purposely lowered ourselves to third density consciousness. We come from the highest level of consciousness, and we purposefully lowered ourselves to experience the illusion of separation. We wanted to experience what it's like to not know, we wanted this. We're all connected. We all come from this one source, and we wanted to know what it's like to not be that source. We wanted to experience the illusion of separation. So that's
the allegory of the Garden of Eden, man.
Yeah.
The tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Don't eat from that tree of knowledge of good and evil.
So the game we're playing is called the evolution of human consciousness, where we start to remember, we start to wake up, we start to we
can't reject that anymore.
Yeah, we purposely lowered ourselves down the consciousness scale, and now we're going back up. We're starting to remember our oneness and understand
instinctively.
And understand that we are source. We are God. God is not something external to the self. God is you. It's me. It's all of us.
But see, love is such a powerful thing. I tend to think of it as something greater, whatever that may be. You know what I mean? Like it's us. It's within us. Totally. Yeah. But I like to think that that's divine in itself or great in itself. Sure. You know what I mean? I don't want to belittle it to anybody that's listening out there. I think August is saying this is profound. Like it's not. Yeah. Not something to make small of this.
That's no. And so when I say this God shit, don't take it lightly, at whatsoever. Like that's what we are. This physical universe would not exist without you. It would not. We are manifesting it all on a super subconscious deep level. Manifesting it all.
Would our captors not exist if not for us as well?
I mean,
deep question there.
That's all right. That's a little too deep.
I hear
no, but I think it is a relevant question because
sure, yeah.
To their existence, I don't know that we could necessarily respond to that, but to the effect that we allow them to not only perpetuate whatever it is they're doing, but to create, generate, and accelerate more fear. Yes. We each individually have a role to play in deciding whether or not they're going to have that impact on us. So yes. we can enable or disable them in every decision that we make and in the ways that we react to our external environment.
Yes, we are allowing it to happen. Yes, we are allowing it to happen. We are the
How do we wake up to that fact? How do we change that if we're still asleep, quote unquote? And I don't mean that to belittle anybody out there.
Right. I think first of all, you just have to have an understanding of spirituality. You just have to. You can't be an atheist, which most people are, in hope to understand the evil, the Cabal, the Archons. You cannot understand that without a spiritual base first. So
you won't believe it. You won't even accept it.
Exactly. So you need to understand that you are a spiritual being, an infinite spiritual being first. That's first and foremost.
Now, what's the difference between spirituality and above that? Because spirituality can still be used to negative ends, right?
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, that's what they're doing, dude. The Archons and the Cabal and the Illuminati, they're spiritual as fuck, dude.
That's why I'm asking.
Super spiritual.
How do we not become them in our journey to try to ascend?
Well,
again, personal will choice to just follow a unified versus a self-serving outcome in every action.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's you have to make a decision. Are you service to self or are you service to others? That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. What are you living for?
Yeah.
What's your point?
So these beings are as service to self as it gets.
So the
black holes.
The raw law of one series actually gives a specific percentage. It says in order to, for instance, from the third density to the fourth density, in order to graduate, when we get to that point where a harvest, they call it, is made, you actually have to be quantified at 51% or greater service to others in order to graduate into the next density, if you are a service to others oriented being. Now, how we're talking about other beings make it to higher densities as well, because at every dimension we need positive and negatively oriented entities to continue that experience of duality, or else everything just goes back to single source. But you need less of them at higher densities, because the higher densities are more about unification and love and that kind of thing. So only 5% of those service to self entities actually graduate into the next density at that.
When do they cut off eventually? Do you guys know? When can they no longer graduate or get higher?
Well, that goes back to the cyclical nature of each planetary body. So there's multiple gatherings, if you will, at each one of those. So we talked about the 25,000 year cycle. Earth, for example, supposedly has gone through 3 human population cycles of 25,000 years, so 75,000 years total. And the first 2 25,000 year cycles, they didn't harvest anyone in either one of those polarities. Nobody was ready for graduation at the first. I think the first would have been the Atlantean time frame.
Yep.
The second 25,000 year cycle, there were people who were ready for it, but they were conscious enough to know that if they left, they would essentially their higher energy would be removed from this planet, and the remaining population of the planet would have no chance in graduating.
They doom us.
The third.
Wow.
So they stayed here, even though they could have graduated on.
Selfless.
So those entities stayed here. I don't know what number we're talking about there. And so now we're in
three I know of.
Now we're in the third of the. There you go. Now we're in the third of the third cycles, literally in the waning hours of the third cycle, trying to make it to graduation, and
bring everybody with us,
and potentially have the largest harvest that our universe has ever known. Exactly. I mean, that's really what. And this reverse crap.
Oh my God, man, this is blowing my fucking mind.
Yeah. So the solar flash that everyone's talking about, this ascension. That everyone's talking about was supposed to happen a long time ago. Exactly what Ken was saying. It was supposed to happen a long time ago. The only reason it hasn't is because of these archontic forces, these parasites, these demon freaking parasites, the Archon, Anunnaki, Cabal, Illuminati forces. Like, they are the ones who are keeping us in third density consciousness. And they're doing whatever they can. Like, they're clawing, like, humanity's ours. Like, no, humanity's ours. We no.
We need them. We need
we need humanity. Like, you guys can't. Like, no one's
just like
no one's
just like we have farm animals.
Yes, we're literally their cattle. We're literally their
cattle is the word they use, by the way.
So the end of the game has been determined, but the only thing that's not determined is the time frame of it. So they're able to extend the process for some period of time. We don't have any idea what that is. It'll
just make it better in the end.
Yeah.
For us.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
more appreciative of it, anyways. But hey, I've heard. I've only read a little bit about this, but is there just like certain windows where we get a chance to elevate, like when the galaxies or whatever come into a certain alignment every 25,000 years, or at any point could we ascend?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
My understanding is it is a specific window measured in terms of hundreds of years. So, like, this window
is it coming up? Do you know?
We're in
it.
We
miss it?
No, we're in the Earth. The planet itself actually has already at least begun that transition into fourth density. The human consciousness is not at that level yet. There are individual humans who have progressed into fourth and higher level densities that are still incarnate on this planet. So there are people who have the awareness of what our graduation Earth is going to look like, and they're kind of in a dual state where they're walking around in what is referred to by the Christian religion as heaven, which is simply just a higher state of dimensional awareness on the same planetary body. And they're able to still view. You can view from higher dimensions into lower dimensions on the same planetary body. So they're still, to us, they look like regular, normal human beings walking around, but they have the awareness and the presence to be able to see and perceive those subtler forms of energy that I think August was talking about before, that the rest of us have not developed the sensory capability to perceive yet.
Yes. Wow, dude. Oh my God, can we just clap for that? Yeah, dude, you nailed it, bro.
So that's the crux, the struggle of like why these groups and discussions are so important is like every minute that you guys spend talking about and spreading this kind of truth and just higher vibrational conscious energy, and then spreads to one other person, and then that day, that say somebody listening to this goes out and smiles and gives a hug to somebody instead of like kicking a dog on the street. Like little stuff like that at an individual level adds up collectively to make a massive difference in the ability to progress the entire
my traffic story. My traffic story with Dr. Judy is a good one.
That's it. Like magnify that by thousands or millions, and you start to get like what the total impact is.
People don't understand how consciousness works. First of all, like consciousness is unified. It's all a collective consciousness. Humanity has this it's like a scale. Humanity has this as a whole, like every individual adds to the collective consciousness of humanity by their thoughts, by their actions, by their emotions, by everything. And we're all adding to this pool of collective consciousness, and the only way we're going to ascend and graduate is for that collective consciousness, that pool, to reach a certain level of oneness and unity, and we're definitely not there yet. And
scales need to tip in our direction, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like over 50% at least.
No, like these ETs are doing whatever they can. Like they wanted us to graduate a long time ago.
But they can't interject on our free will?
They can't interject on our free will, but they're doing everything they can. Like they're literally doing everything they can. Like what do
you mean? Give some example. I'm not sure actually.
So we were supposed to have like this solar flash, this like photon blast to just like ascend to fourth density consciousness like right away. Like Earth was gonna it was gonna get blasted, and we're all going to enter fourth density reality.
Is that God doing that, or what is that? Just like a natural thing that occurs every once in a while?
That's written about in the Bible, the Revelation
So it's
discussion of the light from the east, the light that will shine in the east, and then 3 days of darkness. That's what that's referring to.
Right.
Is the solar blast, and then for
like...
for 3.5 days, we go through basically a catatonic state where our bodies are upgrading. We're going from carbon-based to silica-based life forms, becoming lighter, more expansive. Some say less dense, with the ability, and then also with the ability to use mentation to control all matter in our experience.
So these ETs,
that's inevitable. It occurs cyclically, like annually, or like 25,000 years.
From what I understand, it is cyclical. But these ETs are like preventing it from happening, it from happening, because they know we're not ready yet. So they're like holding on. They're like they're doing.
They don't want. They want as many people as possible to catch the boat.
Yes, exactly. So they're literally stopping this from happening because we're not ready.
We are, man. I think so too.
From what I've heard, that it's going to happen like within the next like 5 years or something. That's just what
inevitable.
I've heard.
That's the last they can push it back.
They wanted it to happen in what was it, 2012?
2012.
Yeah. They wanted it to happen in 2012, but obviously, because of the fucking Archons and Illuminati bullshit, like they're keeping everybody at a third density consciousness, so we're not ready yet. So these ETs were holding, like with their technology, they were literally like holding back the solar flash. Like they're like doing whatever they can. But from what I understand is they're holding it for as long as possible, but they're going to let it happen around in the next like 5 years is what I've heard. Okay,
it's about to blow. It's like they can't hold it no more.
Yeah, it's going to happen, and it doesn't matter like where our conscience is at that point. Like they're just gonna let it happen. And from what I understand is like for it, because so how time in realities like time doesn't exist. It's an illusion. So what's going to happen is for the people who aren't ready yet, they're literally going to be moved to a different timeline, another Earth timeline where it's third density, a third density Earth. That's where
it's happened to us already. 2012 was like a mistake or something.
So everybody else who is ready, and what Ken was saying, all it takes for you to be ready is to be service to others, to be 51% service to others. That's all it takes to be ready. And for the rest of us who are at a service most service to other level, we're going to ascend to fourth density and have new Earth and have all that amazing shit. But for the rest,
that reminds me of the other day, man. I don't think I'm going with you guys. I realized this
dude.
the other day I'm going to choose not to, man. I know myself. I'm going to stay back with these people for 25,000 years.
No, like you're not going to have a choice. Like as long as you are 51% service to others, like you're going. That's it. Like you don't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have a choice. Like
it'll usurp my free will.
I mean, you better stop doing helpful podcasts to help people understand their
right.
Exactly.
This is the kind of conundrums I'm having anymore.
You're serving others right in this moment, so
exactly,
you're gonna have to offset that with some self-service later today.
You managed to make it very light with that comment, but dude, I'm seriously having these kind of thoughts lately, and really wrestling with them.
Yeah.
But like I said,
it's crazy.
It's Earth. Earth is already being hit by these photon. Like we're already in that like energetic field where Earth.
I feel it.
The larger perspective on this is that everyone will graduate. It really is just a matter of time. So
exactly.
If you're ready for it, you essentially are at a level where your soul has not just been preparing for the 32 years of incarnation you're in right now, literally for thousands, potentially tens or hundreds of thousands of years over the course of multiple reincarnated lifetimes, where you are at a level where you would literally have to fight to prevent yourself from evolving to the next level.
So what's 25,000 more years? I probably will. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. It's crazy, but
yeah, if that's what it really is all a matter, I think, of. I know August said before that we're not here to learn lessons and that kind of thing, but I tend to think that it's a matter of what is your soul's evolutionary process going to benefit from most? Is it going back and experiencing third dimensional suffering and non-aware duality at another extended period of time of 25,000 or up to 75,000 years, or are you personally going to benefit more from continuing on into a higher light and love vibration and be able to serve the?
I'm personally going to benefit from not thinking about it personally. I'm going to think about it because like I always have. Like the shittiness that this third dimension is and all that. Like, it's awful. It's terrible, but it gives me perspective and appreciation for the true joy and beauty that I have here.
It serves a huge purpose, and I think we'll still have that sense of purpose, hopefully, at whatever the next level of dynamic growth is.
But if there's all these souls still here suffering, I'm gonna stay behind and make sure I can get every last one out before I leave.
Okay, but how many planets in one universe? There's supposedly like at least 1 million planets in our local universe. So you've got another. You've got I was just gonna say you've got another 999 99 million planets where that's happening, where you're not currently able to offer
unless I already solved them and this is the last one.
Well, I got nothing for that, brother. That's awesome.
That's awesome, bro. Oh my god, that's amazing.
That's not me, man. That's God coming through me. I don't know where that came from.
It is a true honor to be in your presence at this moment, sir.
Likewise, guys. Likewise.
Yo.
No, great discussion.
Yeah,
I think your questions
amazing.
offer the kind of the counterpoint to, okay, but what if I don't want to, or what if this is not for me, or what if I'm scared, or what if I mean, you're offering a good reflective perspective that questions that I don't necessarily think about. So this is great. For
me, my selfishness. Dude, I'm a drug addict at heart for many years. Like, I want to get in that light so fucking bad for myself. You don't even know. I want to ascend like you wouldn't believe. But like, I know the suffering that's going on here, and how I can maybe, like I've said, I'll take 1,000 trolls and haters if I can maybe like make one person smile. Right, and like if I can alleviate a little suffering and stuff, like if I know it's not going to be permanent on my end and I'm going to ascend eventually, I just know myself. I'm going to end up staying here.
Well, I'll offer you at least one counter perspective. The gentleman who introduced me to the Emerald Tablets speaks of the notion that there is the possibility of a timeline where everyone on the planet ascends at the same time.
Now that's my kind of thought.
Rather than there being a split. So
that's the book you sent me?
No, that's the Drunvalo Melchizedek Flower of Life teaching. So
that's
that's
sacred
separate
geometry and stuff too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Please send me anything you have on that.
Yeah. So that's all
right
on
up my alley.
Yeah, that's all on video. That's a 40-hour video course that he did back in the early 90s time frame. He made a lot of projections and predictions at that time frame about the prior to 2012 time frame that have not come to fruition. And I believe personally that was due to a lot of the things that, just like August was just talking about counter forces that he couldn't have foreseen or predicted at that time. So
it may have even been correct from what I've heard. More than a couple people that I kind of respect say that 2012 hasn't happened yet. Our timeline is mistaken. We've not, like Jesus Christ, 0 AD was actually like 10 years later or something like that.
Look, here's
we're coming into it now.
Okay, I just want to cap this off by saying this. Like we should have graduated like a long time ago, and literally people don't understand how much control the Archons and the Cabal have over us. They don't get how much control they have. Look, they're putting fluoride in our water. They're putting
where's
fluoride?
Everybody's attention right now? Is the vast majority of the human planet focused on, spiritual growth and connecting to outside source, or are they focused on what's the latest thing on the television?
But yes,
until COVID-19, I think they were focused on TV.
Yeah.
I think COVID-19 is a blessing in disguise.
Exactly, but you guys have to understand the Archons are the ones who's making them do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're
perpetuating their own demise. The Archons. I think they're trying their best.
They introduced money to control and enslave us. That's it. Like if
I always tell people they're not money makers. They literally made money.
Yes, like money. Extra these ETs. They don't have fucking money. Like that's.
They don't give a fuck that they're rich. They realize it's worthless. They came up with it out of their fucking ass.
These ET civilizations. They don't have money. They don't have control. Mega corporations controlling every little fucking thing that they do. Like it's
so the ETs on the third dimension don't have that. Wow, that's interesting. Is that what you're saying?
No. These ETs are like fourth density or beyond already. Like the ones I'm obviously there are ETs who are in third density on other planets, but I'm talking about the higher, the more highly evolved, spiritually evolved ETs. Like they don't have fucking money. They don't have governments controlling them. They don't have these mega corporations.
Gurus telling them how to live.
Literally controlling everything. Like dude. They know our pineal gland is our connection to source. Our pineal gland is our connection to spirit. So they're putting fluoride in our water, our tap water, our water bottles.
See, that's something I can't avoid no matter how consciously I try.
Okay,
that's the argument of the skeptic right there.
The only purpose for fluoride is to calcify your pineal gland. That's
You're right.
It.
I 100% have found that to be true. But see, I can't get away from it. Even if I could somehow filter it out of my water, it's still coming out of the shower hose on me every day.
I know exactly. That's why you have to get a filter. You have to get a fluoride filter. Put it. You can get it for like $40. Like it's
no kidding.
Yes. Yeah.
For your shower head.
For your shower head. Yes, that's what I do. Yeah.
That's big to know, dude.
And now and I'm distilling all of my water now. Fluoride.
I've had for a while.
Aquafina. I've been drinking Aquafina. Aquafina has the lowest fluoride content.
They still have it in the bottle water too.
They're poisoning us with our fucking water bottles. With our fucking water, it's driving me like, oh my god, like I can't
even buy some fucking non-fluoridated water.
They're poisoning our water. They're poisoning our food with GMOs. They're poisoning our air with chemtrails. You
can't get away from it.
They're doing everything they can to keep us in this fucking third density consciousness, and it's driving me insane. Like literally.
But that's us then, right?
If it wasn't for the Cabal, if it was not for the Cabal, we wouldn't have money. Everybody would have houses. Like don't take this lightly. And this is what's going to happen when the Cabal is being defeated. Everybody's going to have abundance. Everybody's going to have houses. Everybody's going to have food, free energy, all of this shit. Like everything is going to be fixed. Like all of
until 1,000 years ago, we all lived as collective tribal communes. We didn't have governments and stuff like that. We didn't even have language.
Look,
then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Enki and Enlil and the Anunnaki created Babylon and Mesopotamia.
Look,
and they gave us cuneiform, and they gave us language, and all this stuff. They literally, at that moment,
Right.
I'm guessing that everything you're saying was probably true in how we lived prior to 6,000 years ago.
All I'm saying is the Cabal and the Archons start all wars. They start. The reason why there's poverty is because of them. They have the technology from ETs that are millions of years ahead of us. They have this technology.
Oh, I know all this to be true.
They can fix. They can fix poverty all over the world, but they choose not to. They're choosing to keep poverty because Earth is
because they're dying. They're parasites. They need us to survive.
Because they need to suck up our loose negative energy. So just
like we kill animals to eat and justify it, they're doing the same thing to us.
So
it's not even evil from their end.
So
it's scared. They're nervous. They're mortal. They're dying.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the key. We have to realize they're not even terrible, awful things. They're just scared and
poverty.
mortal.
The only reason why poverty exists is because of them. Like that's it. That's it. They're the ones perpetuating
it's because of
poverty.
fear. It's because of fear. They're fearing their mortality. It's not even them per se. You know what I mean? Like they could. I don't think they're evil beings. Because we said earlier that they were once source.
Yeah.
They were once connected, so they're not inherently evil. I don't believe. I believe they can be saved, or at least.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to non-duality. Like evil is just a label. Like we don't like. They're just
within our minds.
There just is. It's like a coin. Good and evil. It's just one.
So we can't get upset about it. That's the crazy part. The human in us wants to get upset and worked up about this stuff, but it's really all in our head.
It's really just, it's just our ego and who we think we are as human beings. But it's
hard when you're physically hurting and like sick and stuff, and you realize it's because there's poison being put on you. Like,
yes,
you know what I mean?
Dude, they're poisoning our food. They're poisoning our medicine.
But they're doing it to sustain themselves.
Yes.
Just like we enslave or we make ranches to have cattle and free range farming. Free range farming only exists because when you confine a cow in a stable all day, they literally beat their heads off the wall until they kill themselves. So they created the concept of free range farming to convince them that they're free, so that they don't kill themselves like that.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with humans and them, but they're not doing it out of a state of malevolence. I don't think necessarily. I'm starting to realize they're doing it out of fear.
Yeah.
Fear and non infiniteness. They don't believe that they're gonna be forever. They believe they're gonna die. They have a timeline.
Right.
They're on a time crunch.
I think part of the context of this discussion, it's probably important for people to understand that there is some element of a desire to control and manipulate at every level of experience, all the way up to that unity consciousness. There is something within that experience that has a desire to control and manipulate. What we happen to experience here is we visualize it on the third dimensional level, and when we in this discussion happen to have an understanding that the causal forces behind that happen at a higher than physical level, but what we experience here on this planet are strictly physical inputs that we can perceive, right?
Yeah.
So is it ultimately our subconscious manifesting all of this?
Maybe some of that is well, and so then that gets into the discussion of we're not just this physical being having a singular singular experience right now. We are multidimensional beings who exist on many or perhaps all levels of dimensional conscious possibility. So maybe we are at some higher level driving this process or experience from both sides, a positive and negative polarity.
That's my biggest question
upon ourselves. I don't think we can know the answer to that. It's a great question.
I just don't think
we can. Yeah, it sure is. It's really, really. And so then you look at that and go, okay, obviously we don't know the answer to that. We can't know the answer to that. It's certainly possible, but what can we do? All we can do is either fight it and resist it, or we can accept it and continue trying to live as peaceful a presence on this planet as we possibly can. We know that through the law of attraction, whatever we resist, whatever we fight, whatever we push it back against, only persists. It only draws more of that experience into our our present state. So if we
when
spend
you
all
tell
of
a kid
our
not to have something, that's the only thing they want.
if we spend all of our experience focused on what, at any level of dimensional experience, what the third density negative entities, what the fourth density or beyond entities are doing to promote control and manipulation on this planet, if we spend all of our experience focused on that, what we're really doing is giving them more energy. We're really driving a repetition of that same experience in our own individual, and therefore through that into the collective experience as well.
That's how we're giving them our permission.
Yeah.
By giving it attention.
Just giving it attention. Honestly, like when you talk about how to disempower the ego at any level. So at the individual level, how do you disempower your ego? There's only one way. You ignore it. That's the only thing you can do to disempower any level of egoic expression within your own conscious mind, is to no longer attach to those energetic forces that drive fear, despair, anger, all the other things that cause condensing of the mental energy and ultimately drive us to what is the physical experience of headaches and migraines and mental stress and anxiety and those things that we know are non-pleasurable. And
would you say ignore it, or would you say maybe acknowledge it and
don't
realize
attach
it
to
exists?
it?
Yeah, don't give it power.
So I say ignore, but ultimately, what I guess the better terminology for that is let it go. Let that energy, that festering, condensed energy within you, let it. If you do not attach direct focus on it, it eventually will dissipate and it will die out and it will become less of an influence at the individual level, and then that applies also at the collective. So a nation, for example, focused on negativity as it relates to race relations or political discourse or any other conflict that might be going on within a nation right now, if for some reason people were able to just spend days, weeks, or months not focusing their energy on it, they would find very quickly that the negativity associated with those issues will dissipate. That's why
race relations. If you walked a day in my shoes, you would see, like, wow, you're so right. Like, my world, after I cut out TV and Facebook and stuff, and my friends are kind of the same. Like, most of my friends are black. I think I've told you guys, I grew up in like a black area. Like, in these race relations and wars and stuff that they're having on TV, none of us know nobody that's involved with any of it.
Yeah.
And we all think it's like it's a bad.
But look how real they can make that seem just through just the concoction of one or two stories that then blows up into what literally is now perceived as a nationwide endemic
Civil
issue
war
that has not gotten any better in the last 50 years. Like, that's what
people are killing
projection
police
is
over
right
it and
now.
stuff. Wow.
And
that's
so
crazy, man.
And so only through the projection of a new, very short-term system of beliefs are they able to then perpetuate the perception that this negative energy. They don't even have to really recreate the issues of the past. All they have to do is create in our minds the perception or belief that those issues are still prevalent, and then
and buy into that bullshit.
Okay,
buy into it.
Not gonna lie, this discussion totally went off the rails, and like, so I think I'm going to.
I knew it would, August. That's why I was telling you not to worry about this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my god, but this was such an amazing discussion, guys. Holy shit, you guys are awesome. Like, both of you are just amazing, and like, I just love how the universe works, man. Like we didn't know of each other, like, for like a few months ago, right? Like,
yo, I just realized I think we're all 7 years apart. 31, 33, and 26, correct?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I'm way older than you give me credit for, brother. I'm 45, so.
Oh, shit. Well, I stopped paying attention to my age after like 22, so.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I don't think much of it.
Then. Yeah, I'll go with 41. I'll start telling people that.
Dude,
you know what, though, Ken? I'll put you back in perspective here for a second. I look up to you as like as a learned elder. So I'll use the old elder word on you real quick to give you a little more age.
Love it. That's awesome. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, but oh my god, thank you guys for being here. This was just tremendous.
Thank you for hosting, my brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time I think I've mentioned to Nick before that there's just a palpable energy in any of the discussions that anybody in this group gets together and has. And even listening to you guys' podcast, I was just like, people are gonna clean. I mean, when you mentioned 1,000 people, I was ready for you to say like 10,000. I was like, you guys are gonna You don't have any idea yet how huge this stuff is going to be if you just continue with it and let the ball keep going. Like there's
and don't say you guys, because I hate to break it to you, but you're part of the team now, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, you're on the team, bro.
You ain't getting out of this one.
Hell no.
I'm not trying to go anywhere. I'm having a blast, and this is really, I told you before, man, it's super energizing to me. Like I've been looking forward to this for days, so it's
Dude, me too.
it's a lot of fun. I just appreciate the opportunity, and I really do hope like the questions and the feedback and that kind of stuff starts rolling in and helping us kind of focus a little bit more on.
Speaking which, I'm gonna start a Discord for Illuminatrix right away. So anybody out there, we're gonna post it on the site. You can come chat there anytime you want. We'd love to get some discussions going, some topic suggestion, anything you want, man. Just come over to Illuminatrix. It's gonna be just as cool as at Quora. You just get to chat in real time with everybody that's part of the group. I'm spitballing off the top of my head saying this. I haven't asked the other two if they're cool with that. I should probably do that first.
I like it.
Yeah, and we have this new kid who's gonna help us promote, and like, oh my god, like we're
fellow patriot.
We're doing this, guys. So awesome. Thank both of you guys for being here, man. This was just profound. I was looking forward to this like all week, by the way.
Let's after we get off the phone here, let's not waste much time planning the next one. Let's do it. Let's set a date at least, like today or tomorrow.
Well, the next one is going to be the directed energy ones with Steph Diane for sure.
The only reason I bring it up is so we can promote it right now and tell people to tune in.
Oh yeah, you're right. So the next episode we're going to be doing, guys, is on directed energy weapons and how that correlates to the fires in California. And obviously,
that's very close to home to August.
Yeah, I live in California, and I'm in the thick of it. And we're also going to have Steph Diane, who's a clairvoyant.
Oh my God, it's going to get wild.
Yeah, she had visions. She had visions of the fires like months before it happened. So stay tuned, guys.
Crazy, guys.
Stay tuned, guys. This is going to be an amazing, amazing cast. And thank you all for listening. If anyone makes it to the end of this thing, like, oh my God, you're amazing.
Big hug again, Agus. That should be your sign off every time. I'm gonna give you a big hug if you made it this far. You said that the first time. I liked it.
Oh yeah, dude, hugs all day. Like, oh my God,
yeah,
you made it here.
Maybe even a kiss for a special one or two of you.
Literally DM me. DM me. If you guys make it to the end of this, DM me, and I will literally send you virtual hugs and kisses all day, man.
Sorry, I had that with a crude note. I couldn't help myself. Damn it, Nick. I had to say it.
Well, that's awesome. That's the Illuminatrix Soul Fam. We're signing out, guys. Love you all. Stay blessed. Stay well. And
shout out to Phaedra.
Shout out to Phaedra, the one and only. And
Phaedra and friends.
Phaedra and friends. Yeah. And
here in spirit.
You know,
you're not here right now, but here in spirit always.
Yo, stay tuned, guys. Like this is we're on to something great here. So stick around.
This is where the party's at. Bring your people.
Yeah.
Make it. Let's go. Let's grow it. We ain't stopping.
Hell no.
That's right. Every individual makes a difference. So come and help.
That's exactly. Some fun.
And that's where we're at right now. Like each person is important. Every single soul can make a difference. And I hate when people. One of the biggest feedback is like, "Oh, what can you do, August? Like you're just one person." It's like, what do you?
More than your fucking critical ass can right now.
Yeah. It's like I've okay. I'm not. I don't want to toot my horn, but I've awoken like hundreds, thousands of people. Like it's insane. Like what
how many people you've touched, man? Like think of like the spider webs that go off of the direct people you've touched. Like, dude, yeah. Anybody that's saying that ain't even worth your time or energy.
I know.
Because you know what I mean. Like
it's hard not to let it get to me though. Sometimes it's like Jesus, guys.
If only you grew up in the hood as a white guy.
Guess what though? Maybe that's the person that's helping you realize what you really have done. Maybe it took somebody being a dick to you for a minute for you to really think about.
Dude, see, that's why I love you, Ken. You know? You have like the best insights. Oh my lord.
So
I think Ken just wrapped it all up, man. Ken just brought it all full circle. This is probably a good time to say we're signing out, people. Right? Yeah. Would you agree?
We're signing out.
We could, like George Costanza said, leave on a high note.
We could do like a triple parter or something like that, but.
Oh, yeah. We will. Well, there'll be plenty more. But George Costanza from Seinfeld always said, you got to leave on a high note and you got to know. That's our high note right there, man.
Yeah, it's just our discussion just went fucking wild. I put
You
my.
know what though? It's not about the words. It's about the energy behind it. That's what people are going to gravitate to. So
guys, this is 21st century philosophical talk. Like this is the Plato and
Yeah.
you know, all those guys from back in the day. Only it's like a bunch of degenerates in 2020. Who'd have thunk?
I don't think they were far off from that back in the day either. They just
they got burned at the stake actually.
They edited all that out of the history.
They edited the scrolls.
I'm sure Socrates was doing some mushrooms. They just didn't tell us about it.
Oh my God! Yeah, peyote or something. He had to have been. That would make a lot more sense than if he wasn't.
Without a doubt.
You had to, man.
On that note, be responsible with your intake of drugs.
Yeah. You know, like back then, they were foraging for food too. You know, they just like, oh, what are these mushrooms? You know, like fuck it.
Yeah.
Back then, that was the only medicine. There wasn't pharmaceuticals and chemicals that people had been tricked into thinking are the remedy when they're actually the antithesis of nature.
Mm-hmm.
They used nature to heal and cure themselves and live within it.
Yeah,
that's all they knew.
That's a whole other episode right there. You could do an hour and a half on just that topic right there, man.
I like how you think, Ken.
Yeah. We're coming up on 2 hours, guys. Like, what?
All right, yeah, let's call it. Let's call it, guys.
Till the next time.
All right,
this
folks,
was great.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys.
Yeah,
we love y'all.
I love you all. Peace.
A bunch of other stereotypical endings. You see, you've been great.
Have a great week.
You've been great. We've been the Illuminatrix.
Yeah, Illuminatrix Soul Fam signing out.
All at your boys.
Till next time.